Church, I am 1 month post-op from my hair transplant and overall I'm feeling pretty good. My grafted area has been relatively unproblematic, but this donor area is gonna need a bit more TLC. I've got my notes, y'all bring y'all opinions, and let's get on in to this damn mess. All right, y'all, so jumping right on in with a quick recap. So a month ago, I had an FUE hair transplant done at Ziering Medical. And Ziering Medical is the same place where rapper Tyga got his hair transplant. And though me and Tyga went to the same place, we used different surgeons. Tyga got his done with Dr. Ziering himself. I got mine done with his associate, Dr. Kindler. And the reason is very simple. It comes down to budget. Tyga's budget is based on champagne and Rolls Royces. My budget is based on Capri Suns and Baby Mama Benzes. But the good part about Ziering Medical is that they will meet you where you are in terms of where your budget is, and they will work with you. They have different surgeons in different locations that cater to different, budget levels and whatnot. And the good part about it is that all of the surgeons train up under Dr. Ziering himself, so you should have a very close, if not comparable, result to the surgeries that Dr. Ziering does himself. Now back to me, baby. So I had 2,000 grafts done FUE, and it was pretty much in my front, my middle, and my hairline areas, right? So zooming in really quickly, or just, me moving forward in my low-tech way. My hair loss is kind of in like a triangle shape. So it starts in the middle here, it comes out, and it goes back around there. So that's pretty much where the 2,000 grafts were placed. It was recreating my hairline, as well as reinforcing the frontal areas and the middle areas, right? And so if I zoom in, you see some slight bumpiness, and that's pretty much where, the grafts were placed. If you feel it, some areas are a little bit more bumpier than others. But what I really enjoy about, where I am right now, y'all, is that it's a lot less angry than it was before, right? What you really see is just normal based scalp, right? If you didn't know any better, you would just think I had a low profile haircut with some thinning and whatnot, right? And that's kind of really what you want a month post-op, right? You want it to start looking normal because, all of the growth and all of the developments and the evolution that you're going to see is going to kind of come in like the 3 to 6 months time frame, right? So essentially what you're doing right now is you're setting the stage for the growth to occur, right? And my grafted area, which is the area where they put in all the grafts and stuff, it's been relatively, unproblematic. I haven't really had any major problems, but the donor area has been it's been a struggle, to be completely honest with y'all, and we'll get into that in a second. So in terms of any sort of major milestones, in terms of what I've done since, the actual surgery, I did a hair wash, and I'll link that up here so you guys can see it if you haven't, watched it already. And today I actually did a haircut. And the reason why I did a haircut is because I wanted to level set. My hair was kind of all over the place in terms of lengths. When you get a hair transplant done, y'all, they shave your back and the sides of your head down to a clipper guard 0. So it's pretty much like skin. And so because of that, your hair on top is not really touched because that's where they're placing the grafts and whatnot. So you have hair on top, you have no hair on the sides. And so when the hair starts growing back in, it grows in unevenly, right? And for my own tracking purposes, I just really wanted to level set in terms of having it all being one length so I could really show you guys and really show myself how it's growing in properly, right? So I did a quick haircut today, and I hope that it looks good. For the past about, 5 years of my hair loss, I've pretty much been cutting my own hair because I haven't felt comfortable and confident enough to go to the barber, right? And in that time, I've saved a lot of money in terms of the whole having to go to the barber. You guys may know every 3 weeks and you're spending $30, $40 on a haircut. So I've saved that kind of money. So it was nothing for me to like get up today and get my own clippers and, cut it myself. And I think I did a pretty good job. So drop down in the comments and let me know what you guys think about my own haircut skills. Now, back to the whole, grafted area and the donor area. So unfortunately, y'all, I fell into the percentage of people that have donor area issues, right? And I say that to say this. Some of the complications that you can have in terms of the donor area where they take the grafts is you can have inflammation, you can have swelling, you can have folliculitis, right? And unfortunately, I fell into the inflammation folliculitis group, right? And so I kind of noticed a couple weeks post-op that the back and the sides of my head, they felt very bumpy, right? Think of kind of like if you've seen Braille before in terms of like the bumps that are in close succession with each other. They just feel very, very bumpy, very, very close together. That's kind of how it felt on the back and the sides of my head. And initially, just from reading my post-op materials, it pretty much said it was normal. It was the natural healing process. Your skin is just getting back to normal. Now, a couple of days after that, I noticed that it wasn't really going down. They give you this thing called bacitracin, which is like this bacterial ointment that you put on so that you don't get any sort of infections and whatnot. And I think that was working okay, but I think that I might have had a reaction with it. I'm still not sure to this day. But, I contacted my surgery team and my surgeon, and I basically told them what was going on. I sent them photos, and they came back at me with, use a hot compress, be very aggressive when you're washing your hair, because if it is indeed folliculitis, at the center of folliculitis is always a hair, right? It's inflammation around a hair follicle. So what you want to do is scrub, scrub, scrub so that you can kind of dislodge that follicle, get the hair growing as it's supposed to be, and get the inflammation down, right? So I started to do that. I even went crazy with it, y'all, because the itching was so severe that the only thing that helped was a very vigorous scrub. So if y'all are familiar with those, back scratchers or the back shower brushes that people use on their backs to like get to areas that they can't reach, I pretty much used that, put some shampoo on it, and just started to scrub. And that kind of helped a lot in terms of like, I guess, getting the area to where it needed to be. Now, my problem area happened to be the back of my head because, with the scrubbing with the brush and my fingernails and stuff like that on the sides and the back, it kind of went down. So today I don't have any issues with the sides. My main issue is the back, and I'll put some photos up so you guys can see what I'm talking about. And so once I got back to the DMV, DC, Maryland, Virginia, area where I live, luckily, I already had an appointment set up with my dermatologist, coincidentally, which was kind of serendipitous because I was already going through skin issues, and I had already informed my dermatologist at home that I was getting this hair transplant, right? So when I went in and he started looking at my scalp and just to see, how the progress of, the hair growing in and how the progress of the donor area healing, he basically said, I don't think that it's folliculitis, right? And so like I said before, folliculitis is an inflamed hair follicle. He thinks that what I have actually is contact dermatitis, right? So red, itchy, inflamed bumps that are not really based around a hair follicle. They're just based on, they're based on contact with something that my skin didn't agree with, right? It could have been the bacitracin ointment after the actual surgery. It could have been something that they used during the surgery. It could just be my natural healing process in terms of the trauma to my skin. We don't really know what it could be, right? And so in order to combat that, he prescribed me this thing called fluocinolone, which is kind of like this steroid ointment that I put on twice a day, which has really helped to make it go down. Has not gone down, 100%, but I'm only 1 month post-op and pretty much 1 week into the fluocinolone stuff. So I have to kind of meter my expectations, and I can be quite an impatient person sometimes, so it's kind of been a lesson just in regards to this hair transplant in general, in patience, right? Because the hair doesn't grow properly until 3 to 6 month time frame. You don't get final results until a year. So I'm kind of giving myself grace in terms of how long it takes to get rid of this whole inflammation and the contact dermatitis stuff that I have going on. So other than that, y'all, it's been pretty seamless, right? And if I had my way, I'm glad that, it's my donor area that's inflamed and not the grafted area, right? Because if it was the grafted area that was messed up, I would feel really, really bad that I spent all of this money and the grafted area was not growing in and not doing what it needed to do, right? So all things considered, I'm okay with the whole donor area being a little bit messed up. You know, in the grand scheme of things, it's not that bad. And there is a light at the end of the tunnel, because between my surgery team and my dermatologist, we are going to get me right? So other than that, I don't really think that there's anything else that's been going on in terms of this time, y'all. I've just been enjoying the new freedom that's come from not always having to wear a hat, right? Because I think for so long, I've kind of used the hat as kind of like my security blanket in terms of going out into the world, recording videos and whatnot. And now that I know that there's a light at the end of the tunnel in terms of the hair is going to grow, you know, it's going to put me in a better mind state and a better mind frame and a better place in terms of how I feel about myself and how I present myself to the world, you know, it's really enabled me to kind of get back to my old self and get back to my old confidence. So I'm really grateful. I'm really happy that I did it. And, you know, it's weird that, you know, once you start feeling better about yourself, you start to see the world open up just in terms of opportunities, in terms of ideas, in terms of things that you want to try. And one of the quotes that has kind of entered my life in this period, I found it a couple of days ago, but it says, "Money is not an experience. It's a tool to experience life," right? So if you're out there right now and you have hair loss, androgenetic alopecia, something, you know, it could be something with your body, just something that gives you such uncomfortability, right, in life. And if you have the means with which to fix it, I say, why not? My general rules with surgery is that you have to be doing it for yourself. You have to be doing it for a good reason, and it can't cause you any significant financial hardship to do it, right? So you have the money set aside, or you can do a good payment plan, right? If you fit those three criteria, life is too short to be unhappy, which is why I leapt and did my hair transplant. So a month in, yeah, I have some issues on the back of my head, but the main area is doing well. And so I'm operating on complete faith that, you know, by the 6-month time frame, by the year time frame, everything will be cleared up and it will be, you know, a model result for what's supposed to happen. So I think that's really all I wanted to talk about in this video, y'all. So if you liked what I said, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on all social media at DatDamnDasher. And until next time, y'all, thank you for your support of these hair transplant videos and keep wishing me good luck throughout the process. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.